Hello, good morning, everyone. We would be beginning with the webinar in next 3 minutes. I trust everyone is able to see the screen. Lisa, are you able to see the presentation?
Yes, I can see. Yes, I can see
Sure.
it.
Thanks so much for confirming. We will be starting with the webinar in next 1 minute. So I think we are ready to begin. Welcome everyone to the webinar on From Data Silos to Seamless Insights, the Verdantis Advantage, Transforming WestRock's Landscape. A short copyright notice. This presentation is the copyrighted material of Verdantis. All rights are reserved. Any unauthorized use or distribution of this material is strictly prohibited. We thank you for your discretion, and as we move ahead with the next slide. The purpose and the goals which were offset to begin with this implementation at WestRock is something that we will start with, followed by the approach recommended by Verdantis, as we progress through the implementation, there were a lot of instances where we had to fine tune our configurations to reach the finish line. And over the years, over the last 9 years, as we have partnered with WestRock, we have continuously followed a voice of customer process to continually evolve and meet the end requirements, and basically navigate through the business challenges as a group with WestRock. The integration as how the solutions have interfaced with the WestRock landscape. As the organization grew, WestRock continued to acquire more and more business ventures, new plants being set up, mergers being taking place. Would look at how the data across the organization has grown, and how has been the trend in terms of the usage of the system. A brief introduction on Verdantis Integrity Suite, followed by question and answers. In terms of the overall timeline, we have reserved 20 minutes for the speaker engagement. We do have a small call in between where we would appreciate your inputs. And we have reserved last 5 minutes for question and answers, wherein you can post your question and answers through this session on the question and answers section of this webinar. Rest assured that everyone will be receiving the recording of this webinar. So please continue to follow through us on this webinar, and as we progress, we are really happy to take up any questions. In case we are not able to answer any question due to time constraint, we would certainly be reverting to you on the question over an email. Lisa, would you like to proceed with the introduction?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Tivy. I've been with WestRock for about 10 years, specifically 6 or 7 years within the master data space. My team manages the item master for procured materials and the contract pricing related to those procured materials.
Thank you. And thanks so much, Lisa, for being part of this session. We appreciate your support on this, and we continue to move ahead with WestRock as our data governance partner, and to also appreciate everyone's time today in accommodating the reschedule to the overall webinar's date and time. My name is Rohan Salvi. I'm Associate Director for Business Development at Verdantis. I have been in master data management space for over 15 years, and have been closely monitoring, working with WestRock as we continually progressed through the material master journey at WestRock. Lisa, would you like to run a quick round of intro for WestRock as an organization?
Sure. So WestRock is a leader in sustainable fiber-based packaging solutions. We have about 58,000 WestRock team members, more than 300 production facilities worldwide, and billions of packages in circulation. We provide solutions for many areas: beverage, fresh food, food services, home health, beauty, industrial, retail, and much more, as you can see from the slide.
Great. Lisa, this one is with you.
Okay. Yep. So in 2015, we acquired a larger competitor, and we were operating with new systems, disparate data sets, while trying to maintain our operational efficiencies. So our solution was to partner with Verdantis to implement a solution that would streamline our current processes and enhance what we had in place and put a better system in place. Next slide, please.
So are we looking at the challenges faced slide?
Yes. So challenges faced. So we have a lot of systems in place, very diverse in use. We had a lot of data duplication. So after acquisitions and mergers and data being pushed in the back end, we had a lot of data duplication. Trying to also balance our the data redundancy versus data loss. So what's important to keep as we move forward. And then also we have multilingual complexities. Specifically, French Canadian was the one we were most concerned with. Okay, next slide, please. So we had, we had a lot of challenges ahead of us, but yet we really wanted to focus on, what was important, right? We needed to put an automated solution in for our item master. Inventory deduplication was really important for inventory reduction. We knew we would have further acquisitions, down the road. So we have, over 1 million items in our database. However, only about 740,000 today that are active. We needed to consolidate from multiple systems. We needed to replace our incumbent system. We had a very customized taxonomy, and we also needed to be able to integrate into 2 different ERP systems at the time of our go live. So lots of challenges, but some hefty goals that we put out there for our implementation. Next slide.
And then, I'll, just quickly add some colors here in terms of, the material volume. We were always dealing with over 500,000 materials when we started with, and, 740,000 active materials. So there was always a need to provide a robust search, find, compare ability for users across the globe to be able to look at the materials across the 300 plants. Okay. There was a goal set up towards reducing the failure rates when it came to material creation because of lack of information, because of inconsistent information. The first pass success rate, making sure that the material is complete with, in terms of the information that is required, in terms of the data standards that are required to be maintained. So the first pass success rate was targeted to increase from 30% to 70%. And that was
Can I just sorry,
yes.
I just want to interject one thing there, because that was really a big success story for us, because we when we first went live, our success rate was low. We were having to send materials back because for incomplete data. But we worked with Verdantis and implemented a solution to be able to attach supporting documentation for our new material setups. And that brought us from up to a 70% success rate, first pass success rate. So that was really a big win for us, for both of us, when we implemented that.
Yes. And thank you, Lisa, so much. Thank you, for adding this. I understand, as one of the key factors was also, making sure that the users are able to find materials in the existing repository very quickly to ensure that they do not end up creating or requesting materials, and avoid redundant material creation processes if an existing material exists. And that's where advanced search capabilities come in. Being able to perform fuzzy logic based search, being able to search across multiple different parameters like manufacturer, part number, material description, short and long as well. Being able to search by parameters or specifications was essential as a part of this approach. We also had a requirement on managing the Canadian French language as a part of the multilingual implementation, which was another variable or moving part, and of course presented its own challenges. From an engagement standpoint, we continued to maintain on an average 450 active users, and there were over 25 complex workflows which were implemented, and of course those have all been developed based on inputs that we have gathered from WestRock business to meet their exact business use case. Although these, there are these 25 different workflows, in a sense, the average turnaround time for requests was reduced phenomenally, and it was brought down to 24 to 48 hours, which actually acted as a key performance indicator for the integrity implementation. In terms of this approach of implementing Verdantis integrity, one of the core expectations was to maintain the highest level of quality right at the source. That is, a requester or, a planner who is entering a request or creating a new material. We want to empower that user to be able to provide sufficient information for the sourcing or the procurement team to source accurate material. When someone searches for that material in the system, he should be able to confidently select it, to be able to visit the bin and find the material that is actually fit for the purpose. So this was one of the key goals, and there were several processes that were followed in order to reach that goal. And Lisa, maybe you can talk about the processes that were involved as we progress through this implementation.
Sure. So software was installed. We spent a lot of time working on, what views we needed to see, what workflows. As we just mentioned, we had about 25 workflows. What reference master and what data needed to reside. So the reference masters are all your background tables, supporting your data. We worked with our IT team. We have an integration team to ensure that the information feeding from Integrity to JD Edwards and then back to Integrity was in place. We had a sandbox, UAT, testing sandbox that we did all of our testing ahead of go live, and that's where we also had our training. Our users go in there to test the system, to test the data. We trained up my team, and my team became the experts on the system. So we used the train the trainer approach. And then we went out and trained all the users. And then once we were confident everything was in place, we were ready to go live. And so we keep our sandbox or UAT instance today, which is I guess it mimics production, so we can still go in there, and when we want to test anything or use for training purposes, it's a mirror of production, so we can go in there and use that as well. And even today, we hold webinars quarterly or as needed with new sites coming on board, and our my team consistently trains or continually trains users around the world. So that was kind of our process.
Perfect.
That's it.
And yeah, just to add to that, the UAT environment continues to remain very active because, as Integrity being a SaaS solution, we have quarterly releases, monthly releases. We also have customer specific enhancements which are released on a regular basis. And in that sense, WestRock team has been very prompt in terms of reviewing those requirements and accepting those in the UAT environment before those changes are migrated to the production setup. So as a part of the the process, we have the UAT environment, which serves as a good benchmarking process to test each and every feature before it's rolled out to the business. So just a few screenshots in terms of the process in which Integrity captures. So here's an example of an electrical AC motor where system clearly indicates for an end user who is requesting for this motor what are the mandatory information. All those red asterisks that we see. User understands that this is really important from a sourcing perspective, from a duplicate check perspective. So when a user is requesting for it, Integrity mandates the user to populate this information. Of course, there are all the other technical specifications that the user would be entering, providing. Integrity will standardize all of this information to build standardized short and long descriptions. There's also a category specific image that is presented. We have the category definition as well. What it does is it actually helps the user visualize the product even before to make sure that he has selected the right category as well, or Integrity has recommended the right category for the product he's looking to create. You can see the basic view, which is very similar to the view which we see in our existing asset management systems. These are configured with your existing metadata or the reference tables that are present in the background with all the rules that are essential to create a material master. So from an end user perspective, the experience pretty much remains aligned with what they have been doing, with an added layer of AI, basically ensuring that we have consistent descriptions generated with full of information that can be used for search, find, compare. And this is the fine tuning which is required through the configuration process. The manufacturer view, where you can introduce multiple manufacturers as well. The system performs a check against duplicates for the manufacturers. Plant specific view, so any plant level data or plant specific data can be maintained within the plant specific. You can see everything is grayed out. That is because it is not an editable information. It is something that got automatically populated based on the metadata in the system. In terms of the workflow and the role capabilities, so system in integrity, we have configured many roles at WestRock. Some of the common roles include requester role, plant level data owner, that is local data manager, master data manager, who is a data steward. So these are some of the common roles that we see across customers for integrity. But then we also have financial approvers. We have almost 5 different roles, 5 sub roles within that one single role. We have content manager, who are category specific, and there are nearly 80 different sub roles within the content manager role, so that we can exactly meet the workflow requirements for WestRock. The plant level accounting is also one of the roles, and as the material requests progress through these roles as a part of the workflow, once the approval occurs, at the final level, the materials are created in integrity as well as JD Edwards. And despite having this complex level of workflow, the team is still able to maintain an average turnaround time of 24 to 48 hours. And the major enabler for this is the first pass success rate, which we discussed some time back. From an integration scenario perspective, integrity is certainly cloud hosted, and the integration is through the web services, whereas a user from WestRock would access integrity platform using single sign-on. He would be able to search, he would be able to request for new materials directly in integrity. The entire notifications module is set up in a way that as the request is submitted, after integrity performs the necessary data validations, data normalization, it reaches the next level of approver. There is information model that has been segregated in a way that users who are responsible for certain views can only see the information that they are authorized to update and edit. Uh, Once the approval workflow is completed, that is when integrity actually sends the material or item to WestRock systems to be set up in JD Edwards, and we receive a catalog ID or item code from JD Edwards as a part of the confirmation process. We have followed a voice of customer process over the years, and every year we do have some features that are generic across the customers, and then others which are very specifically designed for to meet the exact use case at WestRock. And some of those use cases are over here. Lisa, maybe you have been closer to these use cases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we had a offline process that we really wanted to see if we could incorporate into integrity and fully automate it. So we approached Verdantis, and they agreed to work with us, and we worked through the business requirements for financial approval based on extended stocking value. So we wanted it to not just route to the users as just shown on the prior slide, but we also wanted it to, based on that stocking value, route to like financial approvers. So we put a business case together. We worked closely, and we were able to implement this. And one really nice feature that we were able to do at the end of the day was not only would it route to integrity users, but we could also route this to non-integrity users by adding their emails into this notifications, and then we could add comments or stocking justification or why the purpose behind the material. So then we were able to really just take away a paper process that existed offline and incorporate it into our day-to-day routing process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think we are looking at the growth analysis as we see the number of materials going beyond 1 million
Mm-hmm.
records, and this is
Yeah. So
also including the inactive ones, right? Mhm.
Yes. So we have, yes. So we started, as we said, with around 500,000 items, and we are well over 1 million. However, through lots of data cleansing projects, we are down to about 740,000 active materials. And then you could just kind of see by our requests processed that the spikes would represent capital projects, or if we had an acquisition and we had to do conversion, so convert the data from the acquisitions, into integrity. But on a normal basis, monthly basis, we have about 1,000 to 2,000 requests processed during a given month. Okay, next slide.
So in terms of the user access, are we able to
Yep.
see the user's report? Yes.
Yes. So based on users, we plan for about 400 to 500 users, because our user base starts at the plants, and this just really shows on average we've kind of maintained that between the 400 to 500 users active in the system. So we have sustained that level over the years.
We have a short poll question next. Priyanka, can you run it in parallel? I see we have about 6 minutes left, so we may have to keep it very brief. Okay, I am publishing the results. I think that we're still waiting for votes. All right, I'll just publish the results. Moving to the next one. So now, from a solution standpoint, integrity is based on 5 key kernels: autoclass, autospec, autonorm, autodupes, and autocrawl. Autoclass is high-speed classification engine. It has learned from over 100 millions of materials data processing. Autospec is high-speed attribution. Autonorm is standardization of the data. Autodupes identifies duplicates while they are being requested, so it blocks the user from creating a request. Autocrawl again is a intelligent web spidering process which is captured as a part of the workflow in integrity. In terms of the users, users get a single view of the entire material master repository, and on that they are able to perform easy and advanced search, find, compare processes. They are basically not really forced to maintain compliance, but that's something that integrity owns up. Integrity ensures that the inventory levels are maintained, the validations are in place. So integrity acts as the main driver for maintaining that governance. A few screens from integrity in terms of simple search. The fuzzy logic based search enables integrity to find materials even though there might be a spelling mistake. It will find the closest match, and this search is not a generic search. It has been developed based on inputs that we have gathered from our customers for material masters. Visibility in terms of what are the manufacturers, in terms of what are the plants, what is the inventory level. Search by category, where we can actually filter by what is the length of the belt or V belt that we are looking for, what is the top width, so we can filter it and arrive at the material very quickly. As user tries to create a new material, if the manufacturer name and part numbers are identical or duplicate, integrity has the data governance to stop the user from creating or requesting this item. It also stops the user in a scenario where user has entered technical specifications and the material is existing in integrity. So you can see the create new has been completely grayed out because an exact match is present in the system. It can also check based on the mandatory characteristics as well. I think that pretty much covers the few high level slides of integrity. Uh, we have about 3 minutes left to schedule time for question and answers. Let me check if there are any questions that have appeared so far. Okay, I see one. can this solution be leveraged across industries other than packaging? Yes, very much, because it's again, integrity is designed for managing material masters primarily, and asset intensive organizations, whether it is oil and gas, energy generation. Of course, WestRock being one of the most successful use cases for integrity has been benefited from integrity material data governance. Let me check if we have any other question. Okay, so there is a question regarding the recording. Yes, we will be sharing the recording of the session for everyone's reference after this completion of this session. Okay, the next one is, in what ways has this enhanced collaboration and communication across departments? Alisa, would you like to take this one?
Sure. So having the Integrity Material Master has really tied all of our plants and mills together as far as the material requests go. We really can collaborate on the materials and the issues surrounding those. So it really brought us together so that we work closely. It's amazing how many people we know out in the field, it's amazing. And then also because you have different others involved in signing off on the materials. So where you have your local data managers, that might be like a storeroom manager or plant accounting. So you get your financial controllers involved. And even our category managers who manage the different products. In some cases, they want to be involved and approving. So it really has brought us together. We can mass communicate as well through the tool. So it has really helped us. We've come a long way with it.
Okay, any other question that we should be taking? I think we have room for the last one.
I can take this one if you want. How are you ensuring
Sure.
data consistency and adherence to standards? So one thing we absolutely love about Integrity is that we have figured out how to use data governance to the max. So we really control, we have put in a lot of data governance around duplicate checks, and when you're setting up a new material, drop down values list. So for certain things, I only want the users to be able to select, these 5 answers, or unit of measures. I only want unit of measures entered in inch. I want it in IN. I want, millimeters, mm. So we really control, a lot of the fields are open as well, but we control how that data, when it creates that long description, that inch is going to be the same every time you see it, or if these values are only the ones allowed, and that's only what you're going to see in the roll up. So it really prevents the users from just entering the data however they want, and you see inch with quotes and IN and INCH. And so there's a lot of ways through your reference masters, drop down values list, how you set your attributes up, that you really can control and govern how the quality of your data.
Mhm. Okay, there's one more. Probably, we'll take this question offline and revert with an answer over an email along with the recording. And I think we are just 1 minute over time. But thank you everyone for your time today. Thank you, Lisa, so much for being a great host to this webinar. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to continuously working and meeting WestRock requirements in future. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day ahead. Bye now.
Thank you.
The webinar has ended. Thank you for joining. Goodbye.